Hi there guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Brian and today is a very exciting day because today is the day that I'm going to make a video going through how I like to paint Raptors, who are my favourite Space Marine chapter. I love their lore, I love their armour, I love the Corax is their dad. So today we're going to walk through how I like to paint my Raptors. I've got the model all primed up in black, and then the next thing I'm going to do is give it a layer of Army Painter Army Green, which is a bit like Citadel Castellan Green, it's just a little bit lighter. I'm just going to get it nice and thinned up with some Airbrush medium just so I can get a nice smooth coat down. If you don't have an airbrush, you can buy this stuff in a spray can. The Army Painter has their thing where their paints in the pot 100% match to the paints in the can. So if this is something you're going to be painting up an army with, it's quite a useful way of doing that. Airbrush time, just going around, lots and lots of thin layers. Tend to just spin the model around in my hand. Lots of sort of short blasts of paint on there, just going from all angles just to get a nice smooth base layer down. Going to give the whole miniature a wash now, and I'm using 2 parts Army Painter Dark Tone to 1 part Strong Tone. It's just, it stops it being so black when it goes on. The Strong Tone just gives it a bit more of the sort of murky brown colour, and I'm trying to sort of dull down the green quite a bit here. So just taking my time, pushing the wash into the areas in the recesses, for example, making sure there's no streaky parts on the flat panels. Once that's dry, I'm taking a large, soft makeup brush. I've put some of the original Army Green on there, and I'm just giving it a fairly general dry brush all over. Don't need to be too careful here. I'm just trying to sort of lighten up parts like the pauldron, any flat surfaces, just get them back up to be closer to the initial Army Green that we had. Now that's dry, that's looking pretty good. You can see on the areas like the top of the pauldrons and on top of the head where the green has lightened up a bit. And now I'm going to take some of this Army Painter Scaly Hide. I don't know if there's a Citadel paint like this, but I've got a really tiny amount on my brush here, and I'm just really gently going over all the raised areas. And this is just to give it that nice sharp highlight on the sort of raised points, like the top of the feet, on the knees and whatnot. It's what gives the Raptors that I paint here this sort of minty colour, I think, rather than the sort of browny green colour that you see quite a lot. Once that's dry, you've got a nice sort of highlight on all the raised edges. You've got some of the darker green left in the recesses, and some of that nice sort of minty green scaly hide right on the sharp points. Just going around with some gunmetal now. I'm just sort of just doing all the sort of detail work now, the metal work, things like the bolter and all that. That's all pretty straightforward. When it comes to the eyes, I like to put just a thin layer of Corax white over the most sort of bulbous part of the lens, because what I'm going to do now is take some Pterodon turquoise contrast paint, and I'm just going to put a fairly hefty dollop of that into the whole eye area. What that does is it's nice and dark around the edges where obviously there's no Corax white, but where that is sitting you get a nice bright lens effect shining through there. What you can also do is put just a little bit around the edge, maybe just underneath the lens of the contrast paint, and that gives it quite a subtle glow effect. One last thing for the eye, tiny wee drop of Corax white. I'm just going to put a tiny wee white dot in the top corner just to give it that nice blingy, glassy effect. One last thing to do is just go around all the details, like the metalwork, the aquila on the chest, get some dark tone in there, just makes it stand out a wee bit. Like to get this around the edges and over the top, it just gives them a wee bit of contrast to the armour around them. As usual, I've used a few different brands of paint. Some are a wee bit shinier, some are a wee bit more matte, so I'm going to go over the whole miniature at the end with a layer of matte varnish. And there he is, all done. Always enjoy painting Raptors. They're my favourite, like I said. This might make you want to go and give it a shot. If it does, I hope you enjoy it as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, any questions, send me a message, leave me a comment. I'll leave a link to my Twitter in the description below. Have a nice day, and I'll catch you next time.